Good to go.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. My name is Helen French and I'm the Director of Development and Continuing Education at NASW New Jersey. Really happy to be with Noel Hiers. She's one of our presenters at our conference, which will be held April 30th to May 2nd at Resorts Casino and Hotel. Noel is actually presenting 2 workshops, but she's kindly come on today to talk about her Monday workshop, which it centers around Shinrin Yoku, CBT and biofeedback, a multi-pronged approach to tackle anxiety. Thanks so much for coming on, Noel.
Thank you.
So, what is it? What's Shinrin Yoku? I've never heard of it.
So Shinrin Yoku is the Japanese word for forest bathing, and it's used in a similar way to sunbathing. So you're not actually out there washing or anything, but you're basking in the forest, and you're studying the effects of being outdoors among the trees. It started with the Japanese government in the 80s doing research on they had concerns about people living in urban environments and not spending much time outdoors. So they started doing these studies, and some fascinating information came out of it, including how walking outdoors can regulate your blood pressure, decrease your cortisol levels, and boost your immune system. So it's not just beneficial for anxiety, but it's also extremely beneficial for depression. So you have the benefit of the sunshine and the exercise and good old-fashioned cognitive behavioral therapy. So you get, it's the trifecta of therapeutic interventions.
I love it. We were talking before we went live, and you were saying that the immune system, what did you call it? The blood
cells, the natural killer cells are boosted after you walk outdoors in the forest. And they did a study where they took people walking through an urban environment, and another control group went through the forest, and the boost in the immune system was still present up to 30 days after the walk. So, I find it fascinating, and I love that there's science behind it. It's not just, woo, we like the woods and we like the trees, but there's actual science to back up the benefits of it.
Yeah. You talked about diabetics, and it can lower blood sugar too.
Yeah, because you're outdoors and you're moving. So yeah, there's lots of benefits to getting outdoors. And for me, I think, as a therapist, I always recommend things that are going to be helpful for people. And so I'll say, it's really beneficial if you get moving, if you get some exercise in. So I recommend that you go for a walk. But there's a huge difference between recommending that somebody goes for a walk versus an invitation and saying, would you like to go for a walk together? Would you go for a walk with me?
Oh, so that you walk together and have like the therapy session or talk therapy as you're moving.
Yes.
I love it.
So traditional Shinrin Yoku is very much based in mindfulness and being present, and time that's spent being reflective and quiet. So what I do is not necessarily a strict version of Shinrin Yoku, but we are doing the therapeutic interventions while we're walking, or we're still having cognitive behavioral conversations where I might make some points or bring about some analogies from nature. So yeah, it's definitely a combination of different techniques coming together.
That's terrific. So we've talked about why it's important, both the mental, emotional, and physical benefits for people who are attending your session. And I have to tell everyone, first of all, we're expecting to sell out of conference, so you should register as soon as possible. And also Noel's session is one of the most popular, and we're going to have to close it off soon, so get registered. What could people expect to take away from this session?
They can take away some pieces that they can use in their clinical practice with individuals. They can also take away pieces that are helpful for their own self-care. I've done a lot of trauma work through the years. So I'm a trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapist. And when you're working with trauma, death, grieving, so the self-care piece of how do you recharge and refuel after you've worked with trauma survivors. So that's the second big piece. And then the third piece really comes from another word, a Norwegian word called skogloft, that looks at how to bring forest air and some of the outdoor elements into your indoor practice. And so that's the third piece that I'll bring into the presentation.
I can't wait.
Outside, right? So how do we bring in some of those elements even when we can't get outside?
Yeah.
Or if it's raining, or if it's winter, you know.
So can you give us an example of how you'd bring the outside in?
Well, my my background here is an example, right? So bringing in some natural elements, and even the psychoeducational piece of what we do, even just explaining the science of why you're recommending that people go outside for a walk, bringing plants indoors. You know, even NASA did studies of the benefits of how plants purify the air and help you in your day-to-day, you know, with your day-to-day tasks. If you're in an office with plants, I mean, I just, once again, like the science and the studies that have been done are really fascinating. So it's not just nice to have a plant in the corner, it's scientifically beneficial. You know, it's beneficial to your body.
Brilliant. Anything else you'd like to add and tell people out in Facebook land?
No, just I'm excited, and thanks for having me today. So yeah, I look forward to meeting people and chatting with people when they attend this year's conference. I'll be there all 3 days. So if anybody wants to say hi, I'll be there the whole time. It'll be a good conference.
So, excuse me, the Code of Ethics added a mandate around self-care, right, when it was revised recently. So at this year's conference, we're having a self-care lounge with mandalas, meditation, essential oils, yoga, hopefully a sound bowl, etc., etc., etc. So I hope you'll pop up there, Noel, and you know, maybe you can give us a few tips about how we can make it better for next year.
Yeah, it's going to be a great conference. I always look forward to it. I prefer to be in person, you know, whether I'm seeing people individually or for conferences. It's really nice to be able to connect face to face.
Yeah, and we're on the boardwalk this year, so people will be able to get out and have some fresh air, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Really,
Thank you.
I can't wait. This is absolutely fascinating. So everyone, please register as soon as possible. We're expecting a sellout at conference. You can register at our website, naswnj.org. Thanks, Noel. See you later.
Thanks. Have a great day.